In this video, I will show you how we can use LVGL animations to change the value of a bar and a slider. So something like this. Add a label. Because we're not going to change the heading, there's no need to give it a name. You can. It's a good practice to give it a name. Change the text, basic animation, and change the width to pixel, height to pixel, so we can extend it. Change the text size for the label, so style, default, text. You can use any of them. Now add a bar, add a label for the bar. Change the text, bar, now add a bar, extend it, what I want to do is I want to add an image to it, so when the bar value moves, you see like a temperature bar or something. In this case, I want to change the property of the bar, so I'll give it a name, bar 1. Add a bitmap image. Click on bitmap, click on the plus sign, give it a name, temp bar or something. Find an image. I've included the image in the image or the asset folder. And set the format to RGB 565. Okay, now if you click on the bar, background image, to run that, see that as you change the value of the default value to 22, see it increases. You can leave this circular, or you can make it straight. If you click on the bar, I'm going to set the default value to 0, and then if you go to miscellaneous, radius set to 0, same for the default, set the radius to 0. Now you see this bar has become like a square ending instead of a curved end edges. Now add another label for the slider. Change the contents to pixel. It gives us the option to extend and reduce. Slider. add a slider now. So make it the same length as this one, 270 by 30. Go to slider, change the size of that to 270 to 230. Now we will add some style so it looks slightly more slightly better. The style part is optional. You can just leave a bar as it is by default and a slider as default. So I'm going to hide the background. So if you go there, opacity to 0, or you can leave it something like that. Change the color, something you like. Then this is the indicator part, so you can also change the indicator style. So you can change the indicator color to you can hide the knob, or you can keep it. It's up to you. Again, if you want to leave the edges circular, then you can leave it, or you can change it. If you go to miscellaneous radius 0 for the indicator, and if you go to the main part, same, radius 0. Now if you run it, you see as it moves it turns green. Now we will add 2 buttons to control the animation. Let's start the animation for each of them. So this one I'll call it button start anim. You can call it whatever you want, it's just an identifier. I'll copy that and paste it. I'll copy the button, paste it, one for the slider as well. Actually, I won't do that now, I'll do that later. Change the text of the button, so call it animate bar. Make it look a bit nicer. Now if you copy that and paste it and call it buttons start slider anim, and we'll change that to bar anim. Just line them up a bit. Yeah, now the GUI is ready, what we'll do is we'll save it and build, and then in the Arduino sketch we will add the event handlers to animate the bar. When you click animate bar, this one should be called animate slider. Yeah, the GUI is ready. So I'll go back to the one I created. It's exactly the same, slightly different look and feel. Like it's got a border, etc. But the GUI is ready, so what we will have to do is save and build. When the build is finished, if you go to your EEZ Studio project, in my project is called EEZ Simple Animation. So source UI, you see all these files, you copy all this and then you paste it into your Arduino sketch. The Arduino sketch is a very simple sketch. which uses the template codes, which I will show you in a bit. Once you pasted it, if you go to your Arduino sketch, you will see all the files have been loaded. The change you have to make is in the image.c file. You have to copy the LVGL.h and then replace it like that. So the template file, you can either use it from witness me now TPL display. There's a template there, so that you can use, or you can use the same one I use from that site, but slightly stripped down version, so I don't have all these examples. So you can go to CYD practice projects, templates, and then you can copy that. This will be all in the GitHub project, so you don't have to do all this. You can just git clone it and that should work. Now that I've copied and pasted all the C files in the Arduino sketch folder, now I'll just do a basic explanation of what was done. So all this is the template part. Nothing changes here, nothing changes here. Just delete all that, it's not necessary. Yeah, so all we're doing is we got the usual stuff. Setup method is called, LVGL is initialized, and then it calls the EEZ Studio UI.init method that initializes the GUI that we just built. Then we register two event handlers, one for the button start bar animation and one for the slider animation. They both use the same event handler, and for the bar animation we are passing the bar object, the GUI element, and for the slider one we are passing the slider UI element. And we're saying both of these events should be handled only if a click event was generated. This is used by the animation to set the value so if you go to this bottom anim event, you see all it's doing is getting the code target that generated. That's, in this case, is the buttons that we click, and any object that we want to use. In this case we are passing bar 1 and slider 1. So when we click the bar animation button, we'll be passing the bar object, and when we click on the slider animation button, we pass the slider. We check if the event is LV event clicked. If it is, we initialize an animation object or anim object. We set the object that we want to animate, in this case whatever we pass here, bar 1 or slider 1, which is populated over here. The set values, we're setting the values to go from 0 to 100, and the duration of the animation, so 0 to 100 in yes, so we setting the value to go from 0 to 100, Here we're setting the duration just to make it more fun, make it random, or you can just put a fixed value of 5,000, so the whole duration would take 5 seconds for it to go from 0 to 100. So I'm setting it to a random value. Same again, the playback duration, that's when the animation goes to the end and then it comes back. Again, I'm setting it to a random value. You can set it to a fixed value like 5,000 milliseconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds. It's up to you. And then you can also set a pause at the end. So once it goes to the end, it pauses for a certain time before it comes back. So we do that by setting the playback delay. And the other one is the repeat delay. The repeat delay is when it goes to the end, it comes back, it pauses for the specified time. You can set a fixed value or a random value. This one is just saying repeat the animation until the battery dies. And here, this is the callback that is called to set the value. So in this case, it will be you pass in an object, although it's biased. No, it's just whatever object you pass, it will set the value. So maybe call it obj. It casts into LV object height underscore t, otherwise it doesn't work for some reason. And then we call the LV anim start, and then that's when the whole animation starts. And that's it. So if you now just upload, you see the final result.